regular meeting of the Athens-Clarke County Board of Elections and Voter Registration. It is June 10th, 2025 at 4:45 p.m. We are at 2555 Lexington Road, Athens, Georgia, 30605. And the first item on the agenda is to adopt the agenda. Do I hear a motion for that?
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
thank you. That is motion by Ms. Till and seconded by Ms. Fabra. Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from May 13 meeting. Board members have a copy of the minutes in their packet. We'll take a moment to review those. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
So,
Okay,
I'll second.
okay. So that's moved by Ms. Fambro and seconded by Ms. Till. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No, so the motion carries. The next item on the agenda is public comment. We have Ms. Elsner here. She'll have 3 minutes from the time she begins speaking. And you may begin whenever you're ready.
I appreciate all the work y'all are doing for a very low turnout primary. I've done what I can to alert people within my world. And pretty much, now some of them know about it, but a decent number of them are like, oh, thank you for sending me the thing, you know. I know I found it confusing that one candidate was disqualified and then on the ballot and on the ballot, today's the day we decided whether, but I honestly, even with the amount of information I have, I found that off-putting, kind of like, or it's a pretty unfortunate situation, you know, low turnout election. So we hold our election, we see what happens by the end of the evening on June 17th. Anyway, thanks for all the hard work everybody's doing. And then I will also say, on a personal note, my husband and I have always voted absentee for many years, but he's now got proper medical care, and we discussed, and in the future, we're gonna vote advance, Mary Moore. There you go. Go person. That's all. Bingo, we're gonna be a person voter. That's all. We're going to Mary Moore. There and vote and be right out. That's great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next on the agenda is the director's report. I recognize the interim director, Ms. Long.
Okay, thank you, Vice Chair Riley. And we'll start off with doing our activity report for the month of May. So actually, we have a total of 86,943 voters, in which 73,509 are active registered voters and 13,434 are inactive voters. As far as cancellations concerned, we have had a total of 97, of which 14 have moved out of state. We had none that was submitted through the Jarvis portal. We had one that had requested it to be removed, and we had 66 deceased and 16 felons. We also have had no challenges this month, and we have had 9 voter IDs for this month, which have total year to date to 55 voters. And now I'm gonna let Ms. Taylor give us an update on the open records request and the absentee ballot information.
Good afternoon. We had no open records requests for the month of May. And as far as absentee ballots, I'm kind of going away from that, but I'll tell you where we are right now. We've received 57 applications. 56 of those were processed and accepted. One app was rejected. It was received too late after the deadline. So ballots issued, in total were 56. So far, we've received 27 ballots back, so we have 29 outstanding ballots.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. And then also, I'm gonna give an update with the, advance in person information. As you know, it started on May the 27th. The start time was 8 a.m. at the election office. At the time that I did this report on the 9th, we had 292 voters who have had voted. And on Saturday voting, on the 31st at the elections office, that Saturday, we had 10 voters to come out and vote. And then on last Saturday, we had 14 at the office and we had 57 that voted at the regional library. So, and as you say, that opened on Saturday at 9 a.m. So all the dates and times, for this election are listed on our website at accgov.com/elections. Also, next on the item is on the tentative runoff schedule proposal, as you will see attached in your folder. I have put together a proposal in the event that we have to have a PSC runoff for the July 17th, I'm sorry. So you can look that over and July 15th. So basically, the dates would be July the 7th through the 11th, and it would run Monday through Friday. And I had proposed a, regular voting hours of 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Is that all that you had, or?
So do we need to get a motion in case to approve, in case we have to run off?
Do we need to vote on that?
That's what I'm asking.
Well, just in case, do I hear a motion to approve that? Or how does this work?
I think you wait until after the draft
After-
report is over and then when you guys are back in session.
Oh, I see.
Talk about.
Okay.
But the election day is July 15th, so you'll want to correct that on your paper.
Oh, yes, that's, I think that's 17th at the top, my apologies. And also, there's a code section in the event, 21270, that, talks about, the turnout for the June 17th primary. If we don't go over 1% of the total voted people that we have, and then if there's no other runoff that's taking place, we can choose to conduct our Democratic runoff in one precinct. And that precinct would be in the location of where our courthouse is located, and that would be at the Lake Park Center. And then also, if the board approves, like I say, we will make that decision on on the June 17th meeting. We'll just go in and we'll make that discussion. And so I think Lisa had already sent out some information prior to this, discussing about the estimation that the runoff have to meet these requirements, that no nonpartisan candidates will be on the runoff ballot. The runoff is only for one political party, which would be Democrat. The PSC is a statewide race, and the remaining requirement is less than 1% of registered voters casting a Democratic ballot in the June 16th primary. So, this will be determined after the primary election result, but as of today, we are on track for the 1% of less total voter turnout. But the numbers are creeping. I think we're pretty close to like 535 voters now, so. But we'll see. We'll see, but we had wanted to bring this up, so if we did meet those guidelines, that we'll go ahead and move for that, and so that we would have to, post it in the, paper, and we would have to get notices out to the polling locations, we would have to put it in the newspaper and, make other announcements as needed, so.
So what do you need from the board today about that?
Based on just giving you the information today,
Okay.
because really we have to wait until after, like we said, we get the numbers from the July election to see what they are to determine whether or not, we're wanting to decide if you want to do one polling location or if you still want all the polling locations open
The
for that
July
particular
election?
runoff. For the July 15th election, if we have an election.
Oh. Okay.
Can I, Courtney, should they vote on that today? Should they vote to determine if it's even, because they would have to decide if that's something that they want to do, is to go with that rule. We don't have to, it's
We
like
don't
it's an
have to.
option.
And like I said, it's code section 21-2-270.
I mean, I guess you can handle it in one of two ways, right? You could wait until we do, because y'all are meeting the day for certification, right? So we'll have the final, will we have the final numbers then?
On certification day? Yes.
And is that a regular meeting? Is that a special call meeting?
Mhm.
Okay. So you could conduct business there, because you'll know the number at that point. So then you'll know if you can make a decision about the 1%. To know if that's even an option, or, I mean, you could, if you want to make a motion here today to relate it to that, like, if we have fewer than 1% of the county's registered voter, if we qualify for holding the runoff in a single location pursuant to 21-270, you could vote to do that or not do that. I mean, we could wait to see what the numbers come in before you even do you not want to?
Well, the timeline between a runoff and the election
It's so tight.
is so tight that if we knew what we were gonna do, it'd be a whole lot easier to have that extra week to do it. And if we knew that you guys were objectionable to it and you didn't want to, then we would know that we needed to plan for 23 locations.
When will you, so the final, when can you comfortably say that this is our final vote total at certification?
Election night,
Mhm.
we would know election night.
And that would be like the final, there'd be no,
There would be more, but if you're so close to that number and you know you have 10 provisional ballots that came in, you would just say it's not gonna happen. And then go forward with a regular runoff. Yeah.
I mean, it might be something engage in a pretty, a discussion about. It's definitely a change. Never done that before, right? So it might be something we really want to contemplate.
What would be the least energies, what would be better for you guys? What would cause you all to spend less time on that?
Now let
Or
Lisa
to
answer that.
To have a plan and to know how we're gonna go
So we
forward,
deal with it today?
Yeah.
if you're comfortable with that.
Oh, yeah, no problem. But we,
Once your questions are answered about how that would really work.
Okay, so if we were looking at a motion, what would be the,
So my understanding is parliamentarily, if we
Yeah.
were to do something today, it'd be amend the agenda,
okay,
an item under new business
okay,
to, I guess there's two different things possibly. It's first of all, the question of what to do if the 1% rule is available to us. And the second thing, if we wanted to, would be the schedule, right? The times.
Yes.
If I've got that right, as far as parliamentarily, that would be, we would wrap up the director's report probably, and then finish old business, and then under new business, we would amend, or we can amend it now, but put in new business, item number 2, which would be, item 2, make item number 3, which would be discussion of a possible runoff locations and times, and then,
we can,
okay.
it would be best to go back and amend the agenda.
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's what you're saying.
Right, does that
Yes.
sound right to you?
Mhm.
Do I hear a motion to amend the agenda to look at this?
I so move.
Okay,
Put it on the agenda.
Do we want,
that rule,
okay, so we're talking about the rule, what, number of polling locations. number of polling locations to be used for a potential July primary runoff. Does that sound good to you as far as what the idea, okay? So that's motion by Ms. Fambro to amend the agenda by adding under new business. Number two, number of polling locations to be used for a potential July primary runoff. While we're in there, do you want, I'm sorry.
Based on, no, go ahead.
So there's a motion, it would need a second.
Yeah.
There's a second, I'll second it.
Okay.
Now, I'm curious then, just, I don't want to bulldoze anything. Do we want to just roll into this, adding number three also, which would be the dates and times? Right, the more urgent thing is the, whether we do
What
one
we're doing
location.
or not, yeah.
But while we're here, we would, in
Yes.
the interest of helping staff, it would be good to go ahead and talk about the last page of the packet as far as dates. Should that be another thing? All right, cool.
Okay.
Ms. Fambro, would you like to add, under new business, item number three?
Would you all like to have that information when you leave here today? Of course,
Yes.
then we
Yeah.
need to add that.
So then perhaps an amended motion would be to amend the agenda by adding under new business, item number two, the number of polling locations to be used for a potential July primary runoff, and item number three, dates and times of advanced voting for potential July primary runoff. Does that sound right to you? I'll second that if that's okay.
Yeah.
And then we need to vote on that.
Okay.
Call for any discussion on that? or-
Any discussion about that? No? Okay, we've discussed. All right.
Well, what we can do is we can drop it down to new business and when we get new business, maybe discuss it.
Okay.
Right, so here's the.
There,
that's the
okay, is there a motion to,
motion. That's just something for later, but then
Okay.
there's cutting to chase.
okay,
So
let's see, this
the
is
motion is just to amend the agenda, not to.
to amend the agenda. Okay, there's a motion to amend the agenda and it's been seconded. And is there a motion?
Sorry, pick it up.
Okay, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Lord have mercy.
That's a pretty
Okay.
good that's a tough parliamentary test there for your first meeting. Yeah.
Doing beautifully.
Just there, there, I'm set.
Okay,
Masterful.
okay, so, the motion carries.
So the agenda is now amended.
The agenda is now amended to address the motion by Ms. Fambro. It's approved unanimously.
All right, now, I guess that kind of tables it, well, sorry, kicks it down to new business,
Right,
and that
okay,
brings us back to the report.
okay,
Okay, so the next thing I have on the item is, we have two active, SCB cases right now. One is the double ballot issue that we had, that was back in the November election. Lisa had received an email from investigator, I think it's Juan, that he was, requesting additional information about the case. Basically, he was just wanting to know what steps that we, had taken to prevent the acceptance of any, second ballots. And so at the time, interim, Lisa, provided that information to him, so seems to be okay. We haven't heard anything else from him, correct? And then also back in the, 2024 November election, we had a second case, of the voters' use of a phone. So this was under, investigator Lance Patterson. I also contacted Lisa McGlone, on June 3rd, 2025, regarding a complaint that had been submitted, that we had, did it ourselves, that he was requesting documents from any poll workers who remembered the incident on the day, and that was on October the 19th. It was regarding a voter who was refusing to turn off their phone, after being asked repeatedly by staff. In the complaint stated that it appeared that the voter had been taking a photograph of her ballot, which is, a violation code of 21-2-413. So, Lisa McGlone reached out to the poll workers, and they have, some of them have been submitting their statements, and we have copies on files, and, we also will be sending a copy to Attorney Courtney and also, to the investigator on these cases. And then talking about the Gabrielle Conference, coming up on August the 13th in Savannah. Your membership dues, if you have not registered, please do so. You have to go to the website and you have to first, sign yourself up and get your membership, and then you'll be able to do your registration. And for those who are planning to go on the Riverboat Cruise, when they're down at the conference, you can go ahead now and make your registration and do your reservation for the Riverboat Cruise. But those who are not planning to go, we ask if you can wait till after July 1st to make your registration, okay? Then once you get those registrations completed, please send an invoice, a copy, keep one for yourself, and please send one to Lisa Wheeler, our administrative assistant. And for the 25-26 budget update, the mayor and commission is meeting today to announce the final approved budget for all departments. So we will follow back up with you in regards to our approved budget for the 25 and 26 budget year. And that's all I have. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, if we can, let's see. Okay, thank you, Director. Are there any questions from the board members regarding the director's report? No, thank you. Okay. Okay, the next item on the agenda is old business. The one item of old business is the precinct change at the request of the community partner. I understand there's been some desire expressed to table this until next month, once we've concluded this election. Is there a motion to table until the July meeting? Okay.
I said,
Okay. A motion by Ms. Till and second by Ms. Brown. Let's see, there's a motion. Okay, we already did all that. So all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. The item is tabled until July. Okay, the next item on the agenda is new business. The only item of,
Well,
whoops,
so the first item is changed.
okay, oh yeah. The first item of new business is the Board of Elections appointee needed for the vote review panel. And, duplication panel, let's see, the chair recognizes the director.
Okay, thank you. We do have, a list of all the vote review panel appointees. For the, ones, for the nonpartisan, people who had to live within the municipality, they're Adam Levin and David Harrison. For the Board of Election and Voter Registration appointee, it's Miss Jackie Elsner.
Thank you.
Our Republican Party appointees are John Marsh and Donald Carter. And then our Democrat appointees are Dara, and I will spell this last name, Kalantari.
be the first one too.
Dara, Darya. And then Brianne Sharp, and that's Sharpe.
Okay,
Yeah, you got it. Thank you.
okay. Thank you, Director. The chair will entertain, let's see, oh, that's me. Motion to appoint the persons recommended by the staff to vote review and ballot duplication panels for the June 17th election.
And second,
So moved by Ms. Till, seconded by Ms. Fambro. Okay, there's a motion to appoint those people to the vote review panel. Vote review and ballot duplication panels in the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Ms. Elsner is our person,
And other people.
and the other people too. Okay. Okay, Okay, the next item under new business is the number of polling locations to be used for potential July primary runoff. Is there a motion? Okay,
What's your motion?
To consider the number of polling locations needed.
I'll second it.
okay. Very good. Okay, the motion by Ms. Tiff, the second by Adam Shirley. We will now discuss the motion.
I can provide a little bit of context.
Okay, good.
Yeah. I don't want to. So the 270 allows that fewer than 1% of the county's registered voters voted at the primary of the political party by which a candidate or candidates are to be nominated at the runoff primary. Okay, so it's a very convoluted way. The only race that may potentially result in a runoff in this election is going to be the Democratic Party.
Yes, correct.
So if fewer than 1% of the county's registered voters voted in the Democratic primary, then what you can do is only one polling place shall be required to be open in the county. And as Lisa noted, that polling place would be the precinct where the county courthouse is located. I guess one thing, just as y'all are considering, I was just looking in the code section, and it says, if the superintendent, so you guys are acting as a superintendent here, determines that a single polling location is insufficient, all polling places within the county shall be open. So your choices are 1 or 23. So just if that helps you to sort of, as you go through your discussion, because if it were me, I'd be thinking, oh, well, let's just open 4, right? That makes sense, but it would appear, and is that Pam and Lisa, is that y'all's understanding?
Where's that section that you read?
It's on that.
It's on B.
Under B, okay.
So, yeah,
Oh, right,
I'm
okay.
curious.
Are you looking at that?
Yes, I'm in the code. So my first glance over, it, I see a bunch of shall. Do we have any flexibility here?
No, sure, yeah.
I see a bunch of shall be required. Only one polling place shall be required to be open.
Shall be required. Shall be required. Yeah, yeah.
But then you were saying, I think I understand.
Yeah, if it said only one polling place shall be open.
I see.
That'd be different.
Thank you. Okay. So it's all or one? All or one?
Which is not great, right? I mean, like, that's an interesting
Right.
glitch, but that's my reading of the, and I will admit to you that I am reading this this part for the first time here tonight.
It's too expensive to. I'm leaning toward 1.
Yeah, I think,
Yeah, since it's just the one office in the Democratic, because, I mean. It's less than 1%.
yeah.
Do you want some numbers to go by?
I would love
Okay.
some numbers.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 1%, the target number you're looking for is 879 people, less than 879 people voted Democratic ballot in the primary. And from my calculations, as of the numbers of yesterday, we're at 337.
Boy, that's close.
And we still have a week of advance voting to go and election day. And it looks like 3/4 of our ballots coming through are Democratic right now. So we may not make it, but hey, why not be prepared?
Right,
If we
right.
can.
Yeah.
Wow. So I guess just for clarity, if 880 voters happen, this is moot. We're going the full, right, we must.
Right.
Right, just put that in
Well,
perspective.
I know if we do 879, we have to, because it says less than 1%.
That's right.
Yeah.
So this only applies, what we're talking about here only applies if fewer than that
Yes.
Right.
ends up being the max number. Okay. And with that few voters,
Not that we don't want people to vote.
Right.
But we don't want to open all precincts either. I mean, it's kind of a seesaw,
right?
you know?
So is there a motion to, how to word it, but, that if there is less than 1% of the Democratic voters,
If there's less
if there's less than 1%
participation,
less than 1% participation, that, there be one voting, one polling
yeah,
location.
insert the name of the election, what's happening, you know,
That
the Democratic.
I mean, you could make it, again, and I'm not.
Could
trying to
make
push it.
what?
You could make it a little easy, that if you qualified to have a single polling location under 21-277,
Yeah.
that you would avail yourself of that, or something like that,
yeah,
just in the
Just,
end,
yeah.
maybe, you know, something crazy happens and the Republicans do go to, I mean, it doesn't, there's only two.
No, there were-
But you know what I mean, let's not, maybe if you want a broader, section.
I think that gets us where we need to be.
yeah. So I'm thinking, based on the law 21-270,
21.
270,
This slash 70, yeah.
2-70. And there is, based on that law, if less than 1% of the Democratic votes in the runoff,
Well, the county's registered
or
voters
county's registered voters, okay.
voted at the primary of the political party by which it came, you know.
Say if the qualifications for 21-2-270 are met, we will.
Easier.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah,
That's what I would
easier.
There you go.
That's what I would do.
I know.
Somehow, yeah. that
Opposed to
might be-
making Mr. Shirley type the.
5 million things.
Yeah, that's better.
Summing up the discussion, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A question.
Ooh, that's a big word.
So does this section here, 21-2-270B, that is only for election day?
Yes.
Or, okay, so advanced voting is still a separate entity, right? This only applies to election day. Okay,
Oh, really?
okay. So then I guess, and I've kind of taken, we had a motion on the table that
Yeah.
Ms. Till had made, so I kind of, and so I guess Ms. Till, if you'd be okay with this, what do you think about the idea of the motion being in the event of a July runoff primary, open only one election day polling location pursuant to OCGA 21-2-270? Does that kind of get at what? you're thinking?
That's exactly what I was
Something
thinking.
you said, right? I'll still second that.
Okay, good.
So we're still, but does that get at what we're all thinking? In the same, do we also want to go ahead and set that location? Y'all would like us to, wouldn't you?
Well, we
It's
have-
set-
it says it would be late, late part.
late part.
Was that 3B? 3B?
I'm just to make sure that I get these two, what?
In the precinct wherein the county courthouse is located.
And that is late.
How about that?
So then I guess for clarity then, open only the late part. What's the,
3B.
The address.
what title? How about that?
270,
Precinct 3B. Is it 297?
297, yeah. I think it's 297 of them, or Ms. Taylor's checking.
Yeah, 297 Hort Street.
297?
Election day.
I wrote that on.
Thank you. 290, thank you. And wait, H-O-Y-T, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
297?
Uh-huh.
Whoops.
Okay.
H-O-Y-T, Hort Street, zip code 30601.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay. Okay, there we go. How about this? So then, how about this?
But wait a minute,
What?
let's see, because she was saying it's only election day.
Well, I guess the term is the runoff primary.
Right, right.
Oh, okay.
So here's what I have so far. Please help me get it right. Motion by Ms. Till to, in the event of a July runoff primary, open 297 Hoyt Street, 30601 as the only election day polling location pursuant to OCGA 21-2-270. Does that check the boxes that we want to check?
Wait,
Yeah.
So I have, in the event of a July runoff primary, open, I'll put V to help out, open the 297 Hoyt Street, 30601 as the only election day polling location pursuant to OCGA 21-2-270.
Say Lake Park at.
Okay.
Lake Park, 3B.
In the event of a
Yeah.
July or a runoff primary in which fewer than 1%, or in which
Oh, yeah.
the threshold established by 21-2-7
Ah.
or 70 is met, something like
Ah, I
that.
see, thank you. The clauses are, I got you.
Yeah,
All right.
I think so.
In which
That's-
the
that's-
threshold.
This thunder, there will be ballots. We'll have 21 more. We have.
Is the threshold being met or not being met? Which way would, right?
read it.
In which case, in which the threshold in OCGA
The 1%.
is met or
It
is
is
not?
met, I say yes, but
Okay,
that's a stylism.
Right. okay, I see what's happening there. Get rid of that clause. So now, the language would be motion by Ms. Till to, in the event of a July runoff primary in which the threshold codified in OCGA 21-270 is met,
Okay,
open the Lake Park at 297 Hoyt Street, 30601 location as the only election day polling location.
That's,
Some-
I like that.
That still sound okay? I promise it's okay.
Thank you for
All right.
helping us.
yeah.
Absolutely, thank you.
Or not election day polling location, the runoff primary.
Oh.
Election day is actually not until November.
In the event
I
of
see.
a July.
It's a state election.
No,
I see.
the language is so
Ah.
picky and.
Yeah.
I think
But-
we're gonna just.
okay. Is that then, okay, fine. So the only runoff primary day polling location? Like, what, should I specify the date? The only polling
No,
place?
read it again.
Okay.
One more
Because the
time.
clause,
Yeah.
from the top. All right, motion by Ms. Till to, in the event of a July runoff primary in which the threshold codified in OCGA 21-2-270 is met, open the Lake Park 297 Hoyt Street, 30601 as the only runoff primary day polling location. See, election day fits much better there, but I get what you mean.
Did you?
Or just, you could just cut out the whole, as the only polling place. That's what they say here, only one polling place.
I hear that, and I'll make that change, but
No, yeah, good.
But-
This is just, these are just suggestions.
this is, there's advanced in person, advanced voting also, advanced in person. We're not saying only for,
They're
this is,
two
you're
separate-
saying,
It's two separate things.
And if you reference 270, it only talks about election day, so.
Read it.
Yeah.
oh, absolutely, but,
Okay.
okay, fine. So, motion by Ms. Till to, in the event of a July runoff primary in which the threshold codified in OCGA 21-2-270 is met, open the Lay Park 297 Hoyt Street, 30601
As
as the only polling location.
Yeah.
You need to put your 3B in there.
Okay?
So
Glad I finally made it
3B,
from mine.
Still, you're so difficult.
I want to be thorough.
Okay, then I just want to, I'm thinking of how to head off all the phone calls y'all might get from the reading of this motion. Are we sure this is clear enough that advanced in-person voting is not affected by this? If they don't pull up OCGA, they're not gonna know that. The plain language sounds like it's only one place to vote for the runoff, y'all.
Well, just say election day or someone. I mean,
Right.
can they just say election day?
I mean, if you feel like it makes it quick, it's just not.
If y'all not worried, I'm not worried. I'm not worried if you're not worried. Want to save you as many phone calls as.
Ms. Elsner, does that make sense to you when you hear it?
Fine, thank you.
She's our,
Okay.
Yeah, these are public opinions.
yeah.
Liaison. All right, so. I have a motion by Ms. Till to, in the event of a July runoff primary in which the threshold codified in OCGA 21-2-270 is met, open the 3B Lay Park location, 297 Hoyt Street, 30601, as the only polling location.
On election day. I think I would say that.
After hearing that,
Take it out.
I think I would say that after hearing him read it, because it does,
Okay.
it could be.
I think Mr.
interpreted.
Shirley wants to leave it in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever y'all,
What's Mr.
I agree.
Line?
if that's okay, adding that.
Whatever y'all say.
Okay.
Because it does sound like it could be interpreted as both when you read it
Okay,
completely like that.
Okay, then.
okay.
So then there's a motion.
And then do we need to do a vote? There is a motion by Ms. Till and seconded by Adam Shirley. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No.
Good work.
Motion carried. I need a draft. of it.
Just think about it, if that happens, it'll be easier on the backside than it
Mhm.
was here today.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 10 minutes of our time now is worth the hours.
Yes.
Thousands of
Oh, and
dollars.
the money, can you imagine?
Is it $100,000 to run 23 polling precincts? Is that what,
Oh, my.
each time we run them out?
Those would be the most expensive votes ever. Probably be like
Yeah.
130 people voting them, you know, runoff.
$1,000 to $100.
And that's just the labor.
That's what's next.
Okay. All right, the next item under new business is the dates and times of advance voting for potential July primary runoff. Is there a motion?
I so moved.
Okay, what are we moving? Let's see,
Right, what was the motion?
dates and times.
Put you on that back sheet.
Would it be these dates here? If it's what the recommendation is?
Yeah, so. And the correction was, I think, July 15th.
15th. Special primary runoff.
Ms. Fambro, was that a motion to accept staff's advance voting proposal?
Yes.
Is there a second?
So moved.
Okay. And there's any discussion?
I would just like to be clear on, it's been a minute, thankfully, since we've had a runoff, mercifully. We don't have as much flexibility as we do with the regular advance voting period. Like this pretty much, it must be the week before. It cannot be on the weekends. I want to make sure we have all the flexibility. Is that right?
Yeah, there won't be any Saturday voting. It is just that 1 week prior to the runoff.
And then are the hours set also pretty much 9 to 5, or in the case of it being the elected
Minimum
office?
state.
Minimum, yes.
Gotcha. So there's not really much flexibility as far as dates, times. Even if we were to want to, we can't mess with this too much. And it be, Yeah.
Election.
Yeah, and I think
That's
everything other than this might be confusing if you
Mhm.
start moving that time. You know, y'all know how that goes.
I just want to be sure that so this will be this location, these days, these times. Sounds good to me.
A motion by Ms. Fambro.
You know, in all, I think that the code actually says this is the minimum required, but the likelihood that we'll be ready for any additional days, because so much happens in those 3 weeks between the election, preparing the equipment, getting our project, all that stuff, it's doubtful that we'll be ready before that anyway.
Okay. So we do have flexibility, but see what you mean.
Logistically.
Days, hours, or just.
I'm not personally in favor of that. I just wanted to stop
Okay.
and look at this before we voted on it. So, yeah, I personally am not advocating for any more than we have here.
Is there a vote?
Call for the vote.
Let's see, okay, I'm calling for a vote. Let's see. There is a motion by Ms. Fambro and seconded by Ms. Till to accept the staff's advanced voting schedule proposed. Or, all in favor? Aye. Okay, good. Any opposed? The motion carries. And the next item on the agenda is the announcements. Mr. Shirley, will you do those, please?
I'll be happy to. Um, June 20th, 3 p.m., 301 City Hall, pre-certification meeting. Nope, that was wrong. I'm sorry, I forgot to make the change. Please correct me.
No, that's right. Oh, yours says City Hall?
It does, my draft of this.
Yeah,
But
it's
the
here.
printed one, the public sees is correct. So June 20th, 3 p.m. at 2555 Lexington Road, special pre-certification meeting. June 23rd, 10 a.m., 2555 Lexington Road, special meeting to certify election results. July 8th, 4:30 p.m., 2555 Lexington Road, July regular meeting.
I have a question. I think we went downtown the last time. Was that a requirement, or how did we end up down
I don't think it was a requirement.
there? Mm-hmm, we just met down
We
there.
just met that.
Okay, thank you. I'm good.
It was one of the things they had talked about making a law about, didn't they? But it didn't quite come to, right, to, for a moment, they were gonna try to require those meetings to be at City Hall or whatever, but,
That's right.
I think the pre-certification.
but it's not.
Yeah, but
Them, yeah, could be there.
we wanted to go
without
run
carrying paper.
metal servers.
Okay.
I think I was.
I just
part
can't
of this
remember,
conversation.
but that's.
I mean, you know, as far as, the reason we talked about City Hall, because as far as moving paperwork from one place to another, it's nice to not have to go so far with it for the office, but then it was suggested that you guys come out here and Pam said she'd bring the paperwork.
Thank you. Do any board members or staff members have any other announcements?
You did not announce the election date.
Yes.
June 17th, 7 p.m.
This is what we're in right now.
Right, 7 p.m. is the last time to get in line to vote or to turn in your absentee ballot for this election.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Do we need to add that to the announcement?
We're still early voting this week. This is the last week of early voting.
And
That's right.
then, do we need to add these? No, not yet, because we don't know if we're gonna have one, right?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So we're
Okay. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. We stand adjourned. I need that. I need that.
They did make the
Need that.
determination in the Daniel Blackman that he would not be.
Didn't want to-
Oh, they did. Oh, now we gotta go through that again.
We are a great.
Did y'all hear that?
Yeah, I saw it in the news
Got my
today.
back.
That Rocky
They
Burger
be
had-
ruled that he won't be on the ballot.
Yeah.
So now we got